Hey everyone, and welcome to Guru, the world's largest virtual email marketing conference. I'm Jen Tabal, Vice President of Content Marketing at Data Axle, and I am so excited to be here with you today along with Kimberly Snyder, our Senior Director of Strategy. Now here's the fun part. Both Kimberly and I have been working in email marketing since the 90s. That's right, we were running campaigns back when you had to dial into AOL and when hearing "You've Got Mail" was the highlight of your day. We've been through it all, from the early plain text newsletters with clip art, to the rise of HTML emails, to today's hyper-personalized AI-powered campaigns. So when we say we've seen email evolve, we really mean it. And we're uniquely qualified to talk about what still works, what's new, and what's next. Today, our session is called Tracks That Drive Conversions. And yes, we are leaning all the way into that 90s theme. Think of this as your email marketing mixtape. We're going to spin the data, drop some trends, share strategies that set campaigns on fire, and even show off a few slam dunk case studies. So grab your virtual Walkman and let's hit play.
So our session is called Tracks That Drive Conversions. And I am the email marketing J-Lo from the 90s with glasses, trying. So here's our big idea. Here's our big idea. Strategy and creative aren't solo artists. They're a duo like Jen and I. So think Salt and Peppa, think Outcast, even Destiny's Child before they broke up. Oh, Beyonce. So when you bring your strategy and creative together, you get campaigns that don't just perform okay, they actually slam dunk. So in this session, Jen and I are going to show you how to spin data into chart toppers, spot trends to keep emails fly, and mix strategy with creative to light the fire. And of course, check out some slam dunk case studies that prove this isn't just theory. So grab your scrunchies, fire up that old AOL instant messenger in the background, and let's get into it. Let's start with our first track, the data mixtape. So back in the 90s, if you wanted to show someone you really truly cared, you made them a mixtape. You picked every song with intention. Every track meant to make them feel something. Data works the same way. It gives us the raw tracks we need to create something truly memorable. So, what kind of data mixtapes are we talking about here? Well, the best mixtapes are built on tracks you already own. And in marketing, that means first-party data. Think about demographics, account details, loyalty program activity, transaction history. These are the core tracks, the ones you know by heart. They tell you who the audience is and how they've engaged with you. But a mixtape is never just one song, right? You've also got to layer in the campaign data. That's your A/B testing, your clicks, your poll and survey results, and of course, your conversions. Those are the live performance recordings, the remixes, the crowd feedback that shows you really are hitting it. When you put first-party data and campaign data together, that's when the playlist comes alive. Suddenly, you're not just blasting the same old track on repeat. You're curating a set list that keeps people leaning in, tapping their feet, and waiting for the next drop. Think Peter Gabriel in your eyes blaring from a boombox. Now let's talk about persona playlist. So here's the thing. Data writes the music, but creative truly makes it sing. When we build personas, we're talking about all those data points, demographics, purchase history, behaviors, and turning them into something more human, something we can actually visualize. So instead of looking at a spreadsheet full of attributes, we create characters that represent our audience segments. For example, take the creative spirit. The persona is curious, inspired by design and culture, and always on the hunt for fresh ideas. They want campaigns that really speak to their imagination, messaging that feels artistic, original, and maybe even a little outside the box. Then there's, as an example, the home office juggler. This persona is balancing deadlines, kids, grocery lists, and probably a dog barking in the background of Zoom meetings like myself. They want simplicity, efficiency, and solutions that save time. Campaigns that cut through the noise and say, hey, we've got you covered. So by giving our data personality, we simplify targeting, bring audiences to life, and make it so much easier to craft messaging that resonates. Because when personas sing, your campaigns hit the right note. And then comes the remix, data append. Partnering with vendors lets us layer hundreds of additional attributes onto our existing customer list. Things like online shopping, behavior, income, even home ownership, presence of kids, even whether someone is a heavy vitamin buyer. It's like getting the extended edition of your favorite album. More tracks, more depth, and more ways to understand the people who matter most to your business. Now, no mixtape is complete without the latest chart toppers. So let's talk about the 12 big trends in email and marketing right now. Just like fashion, these trends have a 90s energy. Some are timeless, some are making a comeback, and some are so new, they're like discovering MP3s for the first time.
Did you ever have an MP3 player, Kimberly? I had a couple versions of it.
I did not, Jen. I did. I missed that
myself. Yeah. All right. So our first trend is to do more with less. So as all of you know, economic uncertainty has a lot of our teams working really lean. So that means automation, repurposing content, and outsourcing wherever it makes sense. It's like burning one CD and sharing it with everyone. So create it once, use it across channels. Efficiency is really key, especially right now. And our second trend, which everyone is talking about, is embracing AI. So AI, for those of you in maybe mine and Kimberly's generation, is like Napster in the late 90s. It's disruptive, a little scary, but absolutely impossible to ignore. So we use AI here for inspiration, to break writer's block, to proofread, to brainstorm, but we never forget the human element. So AI can't deliver your brand voice or your unique selling points with nuance the way that you can. It's a tool, not a replacement. And we'll dig a little bit deeper into that. So AI tools are everywhere, kind of like boy bands in the late 90s. Some are catchy, one-hit wonders, and some actually have staying power. So the key that we found is to use AI thoughtfully. At Data Axle, we don't just grab whatever is trending. We custom train our AI models so they hit 3 big notes. The first one is ownership. The content is ours, not borrowed from some sketchy corner of the internet. It's very secure, so your sensitive data stays locked up tighter than a trapper keeper. Thank you, AI, for that joke. Tailored content, too, very important. The output actually sounds like you and not some generic knockoff. And here's where it gets really fly. We train our AI engines on the stuff that matters. So things like brand guidelines, performance data, audience definitions, creative briefs, strategy docs, marketing assets, web content, product feeds, sales materials, and even competitive intelligence. There's really not too much information that you can feed into an AI engine to help it deliver the most productive on-brand content that you're looking for. So this is like giving your AI a full box set instead of a random burn CD. Suddenly, it's not just spitting out copy, it's creating something on-brand, strategic, and built on data that actually performs. So yeah, anyone can make an AI mixtape, but when you train it with the right tracks, you don't just get noise, you get a playlist that's all killer and no filler. Kimberly wrote that joke for me. All right, so now let's look at some of how this thoughtful use of AI has come to life in some of our real campaigns. Over on the left, you'll see C's Candies, one of our clients. And for C's Candies, we've used AI to brainstorm fresh campaign concepts and even to enhance product imagery, making that brittle look so good you can practically taste it. For Eddie V's next, one of our favorite restaurants, especially when we're on our expense accounts, AI has helped us to refine the storytelling voice, keeping the tone super elegant and elevated while still efficient to produce at scale. And then finally wrapping it up with Yard House, a great place to watch the game. AI-powered optimization has guided everything for that client, from subject lines to hero copy, making sure the message feels on brand and irresistible to their audience. And the result is emails that don't just look great, they actually perform, because we're not just throwing AI into the mix, we're training it with the right input so every message hits the right note, like a carefully curated track on a 90s mixtape. Here is a quick Cliff Notes view on all the way you can use AIs to modernize your marketing efforts, because as much as we all loved our mixtapes, we wouldn't give up Spotify for them. I'm going to leave this up here for a second. So if you want to take a screenshot of it, you can. But basically, these are some of the ways that we're using AI. We're using it for image manipulation with tools like Adobe Firefly, proofreading with Grammarly. I tell my writers, like, do not send me any document that has a red line under it. Grammarly is an amazing tool. They have a free and a paid version. We're doing content brainstorming with a variety of AI writing tools, social media post creation, message optimization. That's another really great thing. You can feed personas into AI tools and it can optimize a message based on those different personas. We're using it for voiceover generation for like podcast commercials, tone of voice extraction to really try and hone that tone of voice that we're trying to achieve for clients. Content summarization is great. You listen to a long meeting and you feed that meeting into AI. You can get some notes and to-dos that are super helpful and way better than the way that Kimberly and I used to take notes on a notepad with pencil and highlighters. We also use AI-powered A/B testing for ideal generation and also analysis. And then creative performance trend analysis. So some of our clients, like C's Candies, for example, sends 365 emails a year, keeping up with how the trends and data has been performing over the course of that year was much more difficult before we had tools like AI to help us out with that. So go ahead and take a screenshot and we will keep on moving.
All right, so trend number 3 is strategic SEO. So SEO really used to be about stuffing in like as many keywords as possible. Now it's all about value. So this is definitely Jen's love language. Think TLC, tender loving content. So create your audience first and then you sweep for the keywords. In the next trend, it's Gen Z is here, number 4. So Gen Z is topping out at 28 years old this year. They spend more time. What?
I feel like I'm 28. That's not possible.
We both do. They spend more time online than anyone. And they really expect, they have a high bar. They expect authentic, conversational content. So they really want you to speak to them uniquely. So if your emails sound like a corporate memo, they'll bounce faster than a dial-up connection trying to load, say, a MySpace page. Did you have MySpace, Jen?
I did, yes.
I never did. I never went there. So trend number 5, video content is king. So back in the day, MTV ruled. Now video is everywhere, right? So between TikTok, or as I like to call it, Ticker Talker, Instagram, YouTube, and even email. So don't worry about like the polish. It's more personality beats perfection. So video is where your brand voice really shines.
Our trend number 6 is user-generated content. So think of UGC as like a modern day fan club. People want to be part of your story. So contests, hashtags, influencer collabs, we're seeing those everywhere. It's like handing your fans a mic and letting them sing backup vocals on your track. Trend number 7 is the use of podcasts. Podcasts are like the radio shows of today. They're a cost-effective way to build authority and personality. And with over 160 million listeners, they're not just a niche channel anymore. Our trend number 8 is storytelling. And I think this goes back to Kimberly's description of Gen Z. Like, this one's really timeless. The best brands don't just say what they do, they tell stories that make people feel something, build connection. So our goal with storytelling is really to show, not tell. Like the linear notes of your favorite CD, good writing adds depth, emotion, and connection.
All right, so for trend number 9, dive deep into the data. This is totally my trend. So your data is a gold mine, but only if you actually dig into it and dig into it really deeply. So keep collecting, keep analyzing, and most importantly, share results with your creative team. So my bestie, Jen. That's really the formula for how you go from a one-hit wonder to a legendary, like, say, Sting. Trend number 10, hyper-personalization. So first name personalization is so 1999. Today, it's about recognizing engagement history, using preference centers as much as possible, and grouping personas for true one-to-one connections and communications. It's the difference between, say, a generic "Hey Jen" email and a message that says, "Hey Jen, looks like you're planning another trip to the beach. Here's 3 resorts we think you'll truly love."
I would love any beach resort right now.
All right, so trend number 11, welcome to the Metaverse. Now, this one is still emerging without question, like Tamagotchis in the late 90s, which I have no clue what that was. Jim, what was that?
I don't remember. I just remember that my brother had them. If anyone remembers and wants to put it in the chat or tell us later in the question and answer, we're excited to hear about it.
Say Tamagotchis 3 times fast, that's all I have to say. Some brands are experimenting with building communities in the metaverse, but for most of us, it's really about watching and planning for the future. So if you're going to do it, our slogan is do it right. So make it engaging and immersive. And then my favorite trend, email marketer to the core. Right. Number 12 is email works, really? Yes. And finally, email itself. So despite every platform out there, email still reigns supreme for hyper-personalization and conversions. So think of it like the mixtape that never dies. Even if your tastes change, email is always there waiting to deliver the hits.
All right, and wrapping it up, here is another Cliff Notes copy of how to make your email marketing super fly. So this is something that you can also screenshot and take back with you. Some tips and tricks that Kimberly and I have learned over the years, and just a wrap up of the last few slides that we went over. And we will keep moving on. All right.
All right. So how do we make fire mixtapes? It's really a combination of bringing data, creative, and strategy together as BFFs for life. So with that, how do I make fire data mixtapes? So the formula is keep your teams connected during design, and that's so important. Hire creatives who really understand the value of data and want to leverage it. Review results together after launch. And most importantly, celebrate the wins as a crew. So it's kind of like, think of it like being in a garage band that actually makes it big. Everyone plays a part, and together you kind of create something unforgettable. Like think Bon Jovi.
All right, so now let's look at a few case studies. These are the tracks that really made it to #1 for our agency over the last couple of years. The first one we're going to look at is HP's Low on Ink series. So this email was triggered by actual printer data, personalized by ink color and printer model, And I don't know if it's if you guys can see it over on the left side, but depending on whether you're low on cyan or yellow, the icon will show a different ink color there. We thought that was pretty amazing. These add in all of the animations that we've got, like the font dripping lower in ink, and you've really got emails that people look forward to opening, which we think is pretty fly. The results for this campaign were pretty incredible, 2.5 times the typical conversion rate. So really successful and still ongoing for HP. Our next case study is for C's Candies. I mentioned them a little bit earlier. They send out a ton of emails, about 365. Actually, last year, I think it was 367 over the course of the year. So our creative team is always challenged to come up with new and inventive ways to do email in a hyper-personalized and fun way. These replenishment emails included things like purchase history, a vanishing candy animation, and then a cross promotion of subscriptions for super sweet conversions, literally. We sent this 60 days after the last purchase for the first email, with a resend 7 days after to non-openers. And the results for this campaign, also pretty great, 2 times the typical conversion rate and less than half the typical unsubscribe rate, which shows, that our readers were engaged, interested, and we really love this. We did this for a variety of different candies. You're seeing our custom chocolate boxes and our lollipops over on the right side. And then finally, one of my personal favorites is our Marriott Bonvoy annual year in review. This campaign is really personalization on another level. So it includes details like points balance, trips taken, places explored, targeted offers. It's like a highlight reel of your year in travel delivered straight to your inbox. So this is a true storytelling message with data. And the results for this campaign, again, 2 times our typical click-through rate for a member account update and almost 3 times revenue per delivered. So this isn't even really meant to be a revenue driving email. There's no call to book again, except for at the very, very bottom. It's really just kind of a love letter, a thank you to the Marriott Bonvoy members for a year well traveled. All right, so what's the big takeaway here? Really, at Data Axle, our motto is to never stop learning. It's one of the reasons that I love that our creative team works so closely with Kimberly's strategy team. We're constantly pushing each other to test more. We're pushing our design and copy teams to come up with new and innovative ways to use the data that we're getting from Kimberly's team. We really believe in keeping remixing your strategy. So pairing data with creative makes your emails sing. We lean on our partners who live and breathe email because while email might feel like it's a retro channel compared to social media, it still truly is the highest performing channel out there.
All right, so at Data Axle, we've got more than 1,400 talented humans like Jen and I, powering kind of everything we do. And while we love to talk about data, AI, email best practices, our real foundation comes from 3 core values: trust, transparency, and tenacity. We've been compiling both business and consumer information since 1972, so even before I was born, long before Wi-Fi, smartphones, and even Napster. Our 5 decades later, we're still empowering businesses and service providers with data, strategy, and services they need for smarter marketing, sharper analytics, and seamless customer experiences. And a big part of our strategic edge is our ability to capture data from those hard to find small to medium businesses across the US. So think the kind of companies that often get overlooked, but make up really the heartbeat of our economy. And we don't just stop there. Our coverage spans from mom to pop shops all the way to enterprise organizations, helping every business type connect with their customers in a meaningful way. So at the end of the day, the strategy may be smart and the tools may be sharp, but it's our people who make it sing. That's Data Axle's difference. So thank you for joining our session today with Jen and I. Tracks that drive conversions. We hope you had as much fun as we did spinning these ideas. We have a QR code here that you can scan for a free email series from us, because just like our mixed CD, You gave your best friend in 1997 say, we want to keep the relationship going too. So thanks again. And remember, email is the mixtape that never goes out of style. Now, I think we're going to open it up to questions. So fire your questions away for Jen and I.
Thanks everyone for your time today. Look forward to hearing what you have to ask us.
Thank you for attending today's session. Please make sure to participate in the poll at the right of your screen. Also, you can grab your free offer there. And if you scroll down below, you'll be able to get the AI summary and the deck from today. Now let's bring back Jen and Kim. Hi ladies.
Hello. Hi.
How are you doing? Thank you.
Good.
I love the theme. Thank you for leaning into it. It was a lot of fun. And I'm from that generation too. I loved a mixtape, so I feel ya. All right. I know we have a bunch of questions and not a ton of time, so let's just jump right in. What are the keys to gather more specific data, process, and optimize and deliver hyper-personalized emails?
Do you want to take that, Kimberly, or I can?
Sure. I mean, we can both. Like, I think it's better that way. So one of the great ways is to really apply kind of a drip approach. So even in email itself, you can ask poll questions. You can have a link going to your preference center, which hopefully is really kind of a fun experience. It shouldn't be arduous. It should be really animated. You should use visuals and creative to really capture affinity, interest, preference, what you love. And through that, you can then take that and utilize that in the future, dripping it back into your email strategy and really making it truly much more one-to-one and much more hyper-personalized. I don't know, Jen, if you want to add anything to that, but.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of collecting data within an email, whether it's click data or, quick poll data. But I know I would be remiss to my senior leadership if I didn't also add on that you can work with a company like Data Axle that does data overlays. And like one of the things I love about being here, I've been here for 10 years, is that we look at the whole person. So right now I'm Jen Tabal on a work conference, but, later on I am taking my son to robotics class, or I'm really into cooking. And so we can use a lot of that third-party data too to help inform how we speak to our customers.
Yep, that's super helpful. What if you don't love or even like the UGC that you're tagged in?
That's so we are really big permission-based marketers. We would never put UGC content up that we just found on Instagram. We'd always reach out and get permission. So, and I think that if you are kind of put out there as a brand ambassador against your explicit permission, reaching out to the company should be no problem to get that taken down. But yeah, when I saw that question, I was like, yeah, I feel you.
I know.
I didn't grow up in a time where we had as much social media monitoring as we do now, but I can imagine that that's definitely a concern for a lot of people.
Okay. Another one is you mentioned C's a couple of times in your deck. Your presentation. They're wondering, like, how do you use AI? Like, what kind of prompts did you use, and what did you use for AI?
Yeah, I think I'm probably speaking for everyone who's listening on this call too. We're all growing and learning how useful AI can be. I think, using it can't have too much input. It's not a human being. So it's not like my brain has just a limited capacity. So anything that you have, anything that you type out from, your own head about what you've heard from on different client calls, any brand guidelines that you have, websites, like anything that's publicly available, all of those inputs really help to like refine the brand voice and get you closer to like that ultimate personalized on-brand communication using AI. So I would say the more the better.
The more detail, the more you feed it and really like establish truly the foundational core for the brand, the more it can really learn and provide ultimately, much more one-to-one type content that's really rich and I think engaging. So.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's helpful. Beyond just feeding my AI agent our CRM and website data, what is the most critical marketing strategy or customer insight I need to teach it to autonomously build and execute a campaign that doesn't just personalize content, but also understands the why behind our customer journey?
I think another that's a lot of words.
I know. I was like,
I'm kind of lost you a little. I'm sorry.
one sentence.
I'll try and answer it. I think you can teach you can tell AI to act as an email marketing expert or a search engine marketing expert. That's going to direct its kind of quick learning back to anything that it can learn online about what it takes to be an expert email marketer. So that's one thing just to take, to keep in mind when you're prompting. Like when I started out, my prompts would be like, help me write an email with this goal. And then to learn, like, I can feed it brand guidelines. I can feed it examples of previously approved campaigns that the client loved. I can feed it, any data that is, eligible for uploading. I can feed it editor information and say, take a look at this. I really love this style too. So I would say, like we said in the last question, just the more information you give it, the smarter it becomes.
Yeah, I feel like even in the last year, how much more like you can do with AI is amazing, So the next one is, how do we create the prompt for tone of voice improvement, particularly with a branding of a business?
That's a good question.
And I think that's kind of the same thing, right? Any brand guidelines that you have, any notes you have from calls with or discussions with your own marketing teams or with your clients, if you're on the agency side, we always keep lists of words they love and words they hate, and that kind of information fed into an AI engine is can help improve your brand voice. And giving it feedback, when it a lot of times
that's the most important, I think.
Depending on the AI engine that you're using, letting it know what you think about the responses, or asking it to be a little bit more warm or a little bit more clever or a little bit more, optimistic. All those types of feedback words will help improve the quality.
Yeah.
But again, like we said before, AI is a tool. It is not a replacement. And so I 100% believe in garbage in, garbage out. So you need, I think that people are worried. Like I know that my writers are specifically worried about losing their jobs to AI. To me, AI makes us better marketers. It does not replace us.
Yes,
it's an enhancement tool.
That's great.
At the end of the day, and that's the example question you just had, Lisa, was such a good one because it's a rebranding effort, right? So you have to bring to AI where you want to go with the rebranding. Like you can't just ask AI to rebrand and expect to get the input you want. Like you have to work and brainstorm and whiteboard with your strategy team, your marketing team, your creative team. Like you really need to put the work in first and then let AI take it to another level once you have like a clear vision of where you're going.
Yeah, I like that enhancement tool. Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you. I know we're running out of time. And also thank you, Data Axle, for being a silver sponsor this year. We really love having you guys here today. Again, don't forget to grab their deck at the bottom, and they have their QR code up. So make sure to scan that as well for their free email series. And I think we have one more big keynote with Amy. So I'll head over there now. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
it's been a great day.
Bye.
Bye.